A somber day for the SAISD community. SAISD Detective Cliff Martinez being laid to rest today. How his life is being honored.
A man found dead at a Northwest Side apartment complex. He had been shot. We have the latest on that investigation.
And a cold front heads our way later this week. Maybe some showers and storms. We're going to talk about that forecast coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Our community saying goodbye to fallen San Antonio Independent School District Detective Cliff Martinez.
His service is underway right now at the Community Bible Church, and that is where Stephanie Cerna joins us now live.
Well, Ursula, the services are being held inside the church, but as for the honors for Detective Martinez, they will be held out here in the parking lot very shortly. Now, a large procession of family, friends, and fellow officers made its way from Porter Loring to the Community Bible Church earlier this morning. Detective Martinez was killed last month, working off duty as a security guard at an IHOP. Now, police say he was assaulted by two men before they got into a vehicle and ran over him on purpose. Now, today's services, Cliff Martinez's father, Albert Martinez, addressed the families of first responders, telling them to hug their loved ones because you never know when something like this is going to happen.
But you first responders, you've got to hug your family. Tell them you love them. Tell each other that you love each other. You never know when something like this is going to happen.
And another tribute to SAISD police officer Cliff Martinez is the scholarship established in his name. We are told it will support SAISD students who are pursuing careers as police officers. We are live on the city's north side. Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News.
The seventh day of the year has been met with what technically is San Antonio's first homicide of 2020. A man found shot to death overnight at a Northwest Side apartment complex.
It happened in the 8800 block of Cinnamon Creek. And as Katrina Weber reports, while he is the first person to be killed this year, he is not the first victim to die.
Less than 1 week into the new year, shades of years gone by for police unfolded at the Hearthstone Apartments. Officers roped off the back parking lot where a man had been found bleeding from gunshot wounds. A neighbor called them to the 8800 block of Cinnamon Creek just before 2 this morning.
He had heard the gunfire, ran out and met us with the victim when we arrived on location.
Police say the man who had been shot multiple times died right there at the scene. They believe he also lived there in that same apartment complex. Officers told us he appeared to be in his 30s, but his murder is a bit of a mystery.
I spoke to several people who lived here. Most were too afraid to go on camera. Some had no idea that anything had happened back here. One woman did tell me, though, that she heard several gunshots.
At this time, we don't have any leads or suspects. So any information that the public has regarding this incident would be very helpful for us.
Police hope to quickly solve the case, the first deadly shooting to happen this year.
That would be technically correct.
They say he, however, is not 2020's first homicide victim. They say that title belongs to 24-year-old Demoria Harris. He was shot at an apartment complex in the 2100 block of Bandera Road back on December 12th. Harris died this past Saturday. Anyone with information on either case is asked to call San Antonio Police. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And we are getting a look at the latest numbers when it comes to homicides in San Antonio and Bexar County in 2018 and 2019. While one agency shows a slight decline in the number of cases, the opposite appears true for the other. When it comes to the San Antonio Police Department, there were 107 cases reported back in 2018. Just last year, those cases dropped by 2 for a total of 105 in 2019. In the numbers for the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, there were 13 homicide cases the agency worked on in 2018. By the end of last year, that number jumped by 2 for a total of 15 homicide cases in 2019.
A man facing some charges after police say he crashed his vehicle on the west side. It happened on Highway 151 near Petranco Road just after 11 o'clock last night. When police got to the scene, they found the 30-year-old man trying to walk the motorcycle off the road following the crash. Police say the man was detained for possible DWI. No other injuries were reported.
Now to the escalating tensions in the Middle East. Iran's supreme leader calling for direct retaliation against the U.S. for the death of the country's top general. Iran's foreign minister, who's been denied a visa to travel to the United States, sat down for an interview with ABC. And even as U.S. troops are bracing for a counterattack and dozens of Iranians were killed after a stampede during the funeral procession for Soleimani. ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi is in Washington with more.
This morning, a deadly stampede erupting during the funeral procession for Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in his hometown of Kerman. Iranian state television claiming that at least 40 people were crushed to death after hundreds of thousands gathered to pay their respects. The crowd demanding retribution against the U.S.
Trump made a big mistake. He killed our hero.
This morning, National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien on Fox News stated the Trump administration had information that Soleimani was conspiring to attack U.S. soldiers and diplomats.
Soleimani and those he was plotting with were looking to kill American diplomats and soldiers in significant numbers in the coming days.
O'Brien also calling it ironic that Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, who called the U.S. attack that killed Soleimani state terrorism, wanted to attend Thursday's UN Security Council meeting in New York. Zarif was denied a visa to enter the U.S. In a State Department briefing, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo scoffed at Zarif's claim that Soleimani was conducting a peace mission in Iraq at the time of his death. But Iraq's prime minister also stated he had a diplomatic meeting scheduled with Soleimani the day he was killed regarding Iraq and regional peace.
We know that wasn't true. Zarif is a propagandist of the First Order.
Zarif telling ABC's Martha Raddatz the U.S. took an action of war against Iran, but the Islamic Republic will not target civilians.
Our action will not be disproportionate, like the United States.
And today, top Trump administration officials will brief the Gang of Eight, a group of congressional leaders briefed on classified intelligence matters on the airstrike that killed Soleimani. Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
Genetically engineered mice who spent a month on the International Space Station now headed back to Earth. What they accomplished during their trip.
And the Cowboys adding a new head coach and are already making some staff changes. Coming up in sports. The number of mobile app downloads expected to reach 352.9 billion in the next couple of years.
GMSA producer Jared Hoeing reports on the top app trends coming up this year.
Pick up any mobile phone and you'll probably find dozens of them. We're talking about apps. There are millions to download, so how will they change this year? The first app trends experts say to watch for is augmented and virtual reality apps. These technologies can help industries provide better experiences to customers. For example, want to buy clothing but don't know how it will look? Now you can try on clothes virtually. Also, healthcare apps are expected to grow in 2020. Intelligent sensors and smart medical equipment can connect to apps and help both doctors and patients monitor certain medical conditions. And watch out for more on-demand apps. They fill your location-based demands and come in many forms, like grocery delivery apps, taxi apps, and food delivery services. Mobile wallet apps are also likely to be used by more businesses. Look for an increase in audio-based wallets that let you easily make payments without cash or a credit card. Finally, a technology called machine learning is set to invade your apps. It can enhance the way you shop by analyzing your buying behavior from previous data. For Good Morning San Antonio, I'm Jared Hoeing.
Also on KSAT.com, a new state law requiring Texas school districts to train employees on how to stop the bleed during an emergency. Districts are also required to offer Stop the Bleed training to students in 7th grade and above. But students are not required to take the course. How one district in our area is putting the new law into effect, you can find the story on KSAT.com. This story originally aired on KSAT's News at 9, our digital newscast, which you can catch on our KSAT app.
Every San Antonian has a story, and we're giving some of these people a chance to tell their story in their own words. It's part of a new series called Unheard SA. The series will give you a glimpse into the lives of everyday people. You can check out the season 1 right now on KSAT.com.
We want to take a look outside with live cam, kind of like yesterday. Really pretty out there, and from the looks of things, going to get kind of warm too.
Yeah, we're going to see temperatures get pretty warm by the end of the week, but pretty amazing just to see this stretch of beautiful weather we've been dealing with, other than, of course, the mountain cedar, which we've been discussing every day, but, well, it doesn't seem to be working. But the aquifer is down a little bit. The mountain cedar is down some, still in the very high category. It's at about 16,000 or so. Molds in the moderate category. We'll take another look at that coming up.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
An astronaut on board the International Space Station had a front row seat to catch shooting stars lighting up the skies over the northern hemisphere. Astronaut Christina Koch posted these dazzling images of the first meteor shower of 2020. In her tweet, she said the shooting stars could be seen from space. The composite image shows several bright lights, several meteors blazing into the atmosphere. You can also see the green bands of the Aurora Borealis, or what we call northern lights.
And super space mice are coming back to Earth today. The rodents are riding on a SpaceX Dragon cargo spaceship that was docked with the International Space Station for a month. NASA scientists sent them up for a series of experiments studying muscle and bone loss. 8 of the 40 mice are so-called mighty mice. That's a nickname for the genetic engineering that gave them twice the muscle mass of normal mice. The Dragon capsule contains about 3,600 pounds of experiments, including worms, plankton, crystals. NASA has been sending mice into space for decades, but their stays there have been increasing for more prolonged experimentation.
Welcome back, mice.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And we would like to say welcome back, Rain, but maybe Thursday?
Maybe
Friday?
Maybe Friday. And that's what I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for. I think Friday's probably our best day. We may actually get some spring-like thunderstorms out of this. So
Ooh, that'd be nice.
It would be nice. I don't think it'll be a drought buster, but at least a little bit of a change. Maybe washing some of this Mount Cedar out of the air. Hopefully. So let's first start with some earthquake information. I wanted to pass this along. You know, we talked about this yesterday at noon. Well, Puerto Rico has had yet another earthquake. This one now is 6.4 there on the south side of the island. There are reports of damage there, so they continue to get some aftershocks as well. They could see a few more, but not a great situation there on the island of Puerto Rico. As far as Mount Cedar is concerned, today's count is at 16,270, so still in the very high category, but down from where it was yesterday. We've had 5 days in a row now in the very high category, and over the last 2 weeks, only one day where we were in the moderate range. So it's just been brutal. I'm hoping next couple days that we'll see a little bit more moisture, a little bit more humidity, and that will knock pollen down a little bit. But the latest, again, 16,270, the forecast, northerly winds today. So I think that'll probably keep it a little steady tomorrow. But Thursday and Friday, we're going to hope it drops some as some of that moisture moves back into South Texas. Here are the dew points right now. We've got dew points in the teens and 20s. It is desert dry out there. And with the air that dry, a lot of times you can get some of that. I talked about this on Facebook, some of that static shock. It's that dry out there. You may touch something, feel a little bit of a shock, but we're going to see more of the moisture moving in by tomorrow, and it really happens pretty quickly. So by Wednesday afternoon, we're starting to see more clouds move in. The dew points are starting to rise, and by Thursday, we really start to feel the humidity. Dew points are back in the 50s and even 60s at some point there on Thursday, I think, with quite a bit more cloud cover. Nothing to see across the state right now. We've got clear skies for all of Texas, and we have to look all the way up to the Pacific Northwest to find our next storm system. This one will be diving south, and this will bring a front through. Looks like Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and that's when our best rain chance will be. Here's a time lapse from this morning. It was another great sunrise. Those clouds you see there in the distance cleared out, so we're perfectly sunny now. 65, dew point is at 16 with east-northeast northerly winds at about 11 miles per hour. Temperatures generally in the mid-60s up and down the I-35 corridor. Obviously a little cooler up there in the hill country, 59 Fredericksburg, 59 right now in Rock Springs. And forecast high temperature today, I'd say right around 68 degrees here in town. Most places will be on the verge of 70 this afternoon, and it gets even warmer going forward. High pressure slides off to the east. Here comes that southerly flow. So we get more clouds tomorrow afternoon. We may go mostly cloudy late tomorrow. And Thursday is going to be a fairly cloudy day. Not much in the way of rain yet, other than a shower, maybe some fog early on Thursday. And then here comes that front. Broken line of showers and some thunderstorms with this, and they may blossom even a little bit more late Friday night, early on Saturday. There is potential for a couple strong storms. I think the best chance is probably north and east of us, but the chances there, we'll have to watch for that. And then by Saturday morning, this is out of here. We're seeing some great weather for the weekend, so it times out pretty well. 68 degrees by 4 o'clock today, and then dropping off pretty quickly tonight. And in fact, some places around San Antonio will get close to freezing. 35 tomorrow morning, 66 Wednesday, 74 Thursday, more clouds. There's that chance of rain Friday right now, about a 30% shot with a high near 80.
Okay, looks good. Hope for that rain. Thank you, Justin.
Once again, funeral services for SAISD Detective Cliff Martinez continue over at Community Bible Church.
Right now, they are beginning these honors. They're happening right this minute. Let's listen in. You're looking at the honor ceremony going on in the parking lot of Community Bible. There is a large procession of police officers and sheriff's deputies from all over the area to honor Cliff Martinez. He was killed last month working off duty as a security guard at an IHOP, and police say that he was assaulted by two men before they both got into a vehicle and then ran him over on purpose. Today's services featured his father addressing the families of first responders, telling them to be sure to hug their loved ones. You never know when something like this is going to happen. Good words for all first responders. Let's listen more.
You're watching the presentation of the United States flag to fallen SAISD detective Cliff Martinez. This is the ceremony of honors taking place at the Community Bible Church.
The ceremony taking place today, a lot of law enforcement officers, first responders there in the parking lot of Community Bible Church. A very fitting tribute to this man who always knew he wanted to be a police officer, and now a scholarship is in his name for any other kids who might grow up to be an officer, either with SAPD, the police department, or sheriff's department.
Yeah, if you just joined us, we were witnessing the entire ceremony there. They had the bagpipes, they had the 21-shot volley, they had played taps, and of course, they had the eagle flyover for Cliff Martinez as he's being laid to rest today.
We'll be right back.
The U.S. will not issue Iran's foreign minister a visa to travel to the United States later this week, saying there was not enough time to process the request. The trip would have been an opportunity for Iran's foreign minister to discuss the death of a top Iranian general in Baghdad last week. The targeted killing has escalated tensions with Iran, which has vowed to retaliate. A U.S. official confirmed today that the application couldn't be processed in enough time.
France has a warning for the U.S. The country says it will fire back if the U.S. states impose tariffs on $2.4 billion worth of French products. The U.S. considering 100% tariffs on French goods, including champagne, some types of cheese, handbags, and lipstick. Those tariffs would be in response to France's decision to tax the local digital business of major tech companies like Google and Facebook. A U.S. decision on the tariffs is expected by next week. France's finance minister has already met with the EU trade chief to discuss the issue.
Now to the latest in Puerto Rico. The island rocked by a second powerful earthquake in as many days. The area is still shaking because of aftershocks. Meanwhile, many homes and buildings severely damaged or destroyed. Now we're learning at least one person was killed. ABC's Trevor Ault has the latest for us.
Puerto Rico is now in a state of emergency. A 6.5 earthquake rocking the island, followed by at least 11 aftershocks. Island residents woken up by their homes shaking.
I could hear cracks, my house, everything started falling over.
Officials preemptively shutting down the island's notoriously vulnerable power grid, many kept in darkness.
Power in my room here in Old San Juan is out.
The governor now activating the National Guard. Monday's quake coming on the heels of a 5.8 earthquake the day before, one of the strongest to ever hit the territory. Houses knocked off their foundations, snapped power poles, and this famous landmark, the Punta Ventana rock formation, destroyed. Then more than 13 strong aftershocks, a TV station on air during one of them. Officials say tremors have saturated the area since late December. Monday's quake striking less than 10 miles off the southwestern coast near the major city of Ponce. Reports of several injuries are now pouring in, including at least one death, a man killed after a wall collapsed on top of him.
The White House says President Trump and the FEMA administrator have been in contact with the Puerto Rican governor, and they're monitoring this situation. The hope is to return the power later today, but there are reports that the power plants have been damaged. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
Live look outside. We got a pretty one going on. Still 65 degrees out there, but we might be in, what would you say, short sleeve weather?
I'd say so by the end of the week, for sure. Maybe even some shorts. It's possible. We're expecting to get up near 80.
Flip-flops, shorts?
Yeah, maybe so. Why not? Wow. Why not? It's South Texas winter. Temperatures this morning, though, not so much. It was jacket weather. 42 the low this morning in San Antonio. We had some 20s on the map this morning, 29 in Kerrville, 32 in Hondo. So a few places did get down to freezing. I think you'll see this map with a lot more numbers below freezing tomorrow morning, as we're expected to get into the mid-30s here in town. And then likely some 20s there in the hill country tomorrow morning. So a little bit colder by tomorrow morning. Temperatures right now, mid-60s here in town, 65 degrees, 61 Bernie State, 65 Tarpley, 60 out at Los Maples. It's a gorgeous day. Winds are a little breezy, but not too bad out of the north. If you're picking up those kiddos a little bit later this afternoon, should be right around 67 and sunny. No problem at all. Rain chances, though, do pick up later this week. We're thinking Friday is our best shot. We'll get some humid weather, about a 30% chance of rain as our next front moves in. Maybe some thunderstorms out of that, too. We'll have more on that forecast here in just a few minutes. Guys?
Thanks, Justin. Facebook doing something about deceptive content on their platform. What they say they're doing about deep fake videos. Facebook continuing its work to weed out bad information on the social media site.
They're now banning so-called deepfake videos. Deepfake video use artificial intelligence to manipulate real videos to make it appear like the subject is saying something that they did not say. Facebook is now removing these deceptive videos.
It's another attempt by the social media giant to curb fake news and the spread of misinformation. The new ban does not extend to parodies or satires.
Welcome back. Let's take a look back at this day in weather history. We're going back to 1986 today. You know, it was on this date that Del Rio got 8.2 inches of snow. What's interesting about this is it was just 1 year after the big record snow that we saw here across South Texas. So it was 2 years in a row there. They got some good snow in Del Rio. Not seeing any snow in the forecast, at least in the near future. Things are going to stay dry and stay pretty warm. In fact, looking at the dew points, they are very low this afternoon. Dew points in the teens right now. We're seeing some single digits, and if that is correct, we're actually seeing a negative dew point, which means that's about as dry as air gets around here. This is very, very dry desert air that has poured into South Texas. It's only here for 1 day, though, because the moisture is going to start to return tomorrow. We get more of a southerly flow, and by the end of the week, it'll be humid. So we're just kind of going back and forth here. Clear skies outside right now. 65 degrees at the airport, 65 Port SA, 64 Stinson. We've got an east-northeasterly breeze. It's a little gusty at times, but for the most part, behaving itself, just 5 to 15 miles per hour. 61 Rock Springs, 65 Uvalde. Really beautiful out there today. 66 in Gonzales. Clear skies just about anywhere you go. In fact, the whole state of Texas is seeing clear skies. And as we zoom out some, you'll notice the southern half of the country is really pretty quiet. So all that cold air up there in Canada is being bottled up. It hasn't shifted south yet, but we're starting to see some colder numbers here. Negative 33 in Yellowknife, negative 22 Chesterfield. So this cold air is going to spill south at some point. The question is when. We don't see that in the next 7 days, but down the line, it's possible we'll be looking for that. And perhaps we'll get some colder air as we get deeper into January. Forecast for tomorrow, clouds will be on the increase as moisture increases. Thursday will be a mostly cloudy day. Can't rule out a shower or two, but I think if we're going to get any significant rain, it'll come Friday. Broken line of showers and storms. And we could see some stronger storms Saturday or Friday night into early Saturday. The bulk of the action is going to be east of San Antonio, but we have a chance here, and then it clears out on Saturday. The weekend looks pretty good. Forecast for today, 68 degrees, the high temperature. Temperatures will fall off quickly tonight, 63 by 6 o'clock, 48 by midnight. We'll fall down to 35 by tomorrow morning. 66 on your Wednesday, a little bit more cloud cover. 74 Thursday, stray shower possible, and then a 30% chance of storms on Friday. High temperature near 80. A little cooler behind that front over the weekend. 64 on Saturday and 63 on Sunday. We'll be right back.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
And just in case you missed it, Jason Garrett out, Mike McCarthy in as the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Former Packers coach confirming he had signed with the Cowboys after 2 days of interviewing in Dallas. That included staying at Jerry Jones' home. It is a reported 5-year contract. McCarthy has the playoff resume Jerry Jones is looking for that includes making the postseason 9 of his 13 seasons in Green Bay, leading the Packers to a Super Bowl win back in 2011 at Jerry World over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and ending the Cowboys season twice in the postseason in 2014 and 2016. McCarthy has already made his first move on his new Cowboys staff. Rod Marinelli out. Mike Nolan is in as his new defensive coordinator. Marinelli, now 70 years old, and has spent the last 6 seasons as Dallas' defensive coordinator and has not made a decision on his future. Nolan comes to the Cowboys from the New Orleans Saints, where he was the Saints linebackers coach. And it looks like the Baylor Bears need a new head football coach. Matt Rule headed to the Carolina Panthers. For a while, it appeared he wasn't going to make that step into the NFL, but here he is, going to the NFL, to Carolina, according to ESPN. He's getting a 7-year, $60 million deal to do what for Carolina that he did for Baylor, and that's win. While Baylor went 11-3 with a trip to the Sugar Bowl this season, Carolina was 5-11, and they've had 3 losing seasons in their last 4 years. Looking for a winner? Hopefully they got one. Good luck.
All right, time now to head over to Market Square, where the party is starting for SA Live.
Yes, indeed, it is. And, today we're asking folks, what's on your family's bucket list? Something you want to do with your family all together, maybe take a trip overseas, things like that. Yeah. But what would be on, your personal bucket list, Mike?
Well, I think with a lot of guys, you would like to score the winning touchdown or, the three-pointer on your favorite team.
Or make the catch like that.
Make a catch like this. Hey. And this is signed by Drew Brees, who's one of the partners in Walk-On's Restaurant. We're going to tell you how to win this coming up in a second. But his partner is Brandon Landry, and you and Drew Brees have a great philosophy as far as running your restaurants, right?
I was a walk-on. I was the lowest guy on the totem pole, right? But you need everyone on the team to be successful. So that we carried those traits into our business philosophy today. He's a starter. Yeah. I was a walk-on, but we still work together.
Okay, and we're going to tell you about how they kind of had a little sneaky visit to some of their restaurants.
Yes, and we're going to test Mike's sports trivia, so y'all can play along also there at home. Okay, if you are cutting the calories for January, I know a lot of folks are doing that, but you still want to enjoy some cocktails, Kristen Ortiz from Dolce Vita Tequila can help.
That's right. So do you guys know how many calories are in a regular margarita?
I know you told me it's a lot.
It can be up to 500 calories.
And
so these are going to be under 100 calories each. 3 simple ingredients, and we're going to show you how to make them coming up.
All right. And we're also going to be making some candles because...
Yes. You know what this is?
What?
This is a candle that burns at both ends, just like you. I don't know when he sleeps.
The ones we're making are a lot prettier than that. Plus, we are going to be sneaking veggies in on the kids.
Yes.
How do you get them to eat those good vegetables?
Yes, super easy recipes to get everyone at your table, get their share on the side.